The biggest energy drink company in the world doesn't actually make drinks. Think about that. They don't own a single bottling plant. They don't manufacture their own cans. If you walked into a Red Bull factory, you'd find a media house, a racing team, and a space program. Most brands sell a product to fund their marketing. Red Bull, they built a marketing empire that just happens to sell a silver and blue can. I'm going to show you how they convinced a man to jump from the edge of space just to prove a point. Let's go back to 1982. Dietrich Mateschitz, an Austrian marketing executive, is sitting in a hotel bar in Thailand, exhausted. Jet lag is crushing him. He tries a local tonic called Krating Daeng. Literal translation, Red Bull. Suddenly, the fog lifts. He's wide awake. Mateschitz realizes something huge. The West has coffee, and it has soda, but it doesn't have this. He spends 3 years tweaking the flavor and carbonating the liquid. But the real genius wasn't the recipe. It was the positioning. In an international marketing context, this is case study zero. He didn't just launch a drink, he invented a category. There was no energy drink aisle in 1987. He had to build the shelf before he could put his product on it. Here is where Mateschitz broke every rule in the textbook. First, premium pricing. While Coke and Pepsi were fighting over pennies, Red Bull launched at double the price. Why? Because if it's functional, it shouldn't be cheap. High price creates high perceived value. Second, guerrilla tactics. They didn't buy billboards, they went to college campuses. They hired student brand managers to drive Beetles with giant cans on the back. They gave the drink away for free at the wildest parties they could find. Third, the trash rumor. Legend has it they used to empty Red Bull cans and leave them in trash bins outside popular London clubs. Why? To create the illusion that everyone was already drinking it. Social proof, manufactured from thin air. They bypassed the gatekeepers and went straight to the adrenaline junkies. They didn't want to be a beverage, they wanted to be adrenaline in a can. Remember that space jump? In 2012, the world stopped. Felix Baumgartner stood on the edge of a capsule 128,000 feet above the Earth. This wasn't a 30-second Super Bowl ad. This was Red Bull Stratos. They spent 7 years and millions of dollars on a scientific mission that doubled as the greatest piece of content in human history. 8 million people watched live on YouTube. They didn't show a single commercial during the jump. They didn't have to. The Red Bull logo was on the suit, the capsule, and the mission control. They don't buy media. They are the media. So how does this work across 175 countries? It's a masterclass in global standardization. While most brands localize their flavor or their logo, Red Bull stays obsessed with consistency. The can looks the same in Tokyo as it does in Toronto. The slogan, Red Bull gives you wings, is translated, but the spirit never changes. Their international marketing strategy is global soul, local heart. The global soul is Formula One, extreme sports, and high-octane stunts that translate in any language. The local heart relies on grassroots events like Flugtag, which are homemade flying machines, or soapbox races that engage local communities. They own the teams, they own the athletes, they own the footage. By removing the middleman of traditional advertising, they've created a loop. Sell cans to buy racing teams, use racing teams to sell more cans. Red Bull isn't a beverage company. It's a high-performance content machine that uses a drink to finance its dreams. They proved that if you stop acting like a seller and start acting like a storyteller, you don't just get customers, you get a following. Dietrich Mateschitz once said, "Red Bull is not a drink, it's a way of life." And looking at the $10 billion in annual revenue, it's clear. The world is thirsty for the story. Red Bull gives you wings, but the marketing, that's what keeps them flying.